Time is the one thing in life that you just can't get back, and I bet you're wasting yours. Well, if you've clicked on the video, as the caption would suggest, you know you're wasting it. I bet you feel that there's not enough time in the day to do anything like work on yourself. What if I told you you have more time than you think? You just need to know where to look for it. In this video, I'm going to try and show you how I use my time as efficiently as possible to build the life that I want. I start the day relatively early. I get up at 05:30, which gives me my first slot in the day to work on myself and building towards being better in the future. Getting up early and doing some exercise is a great way to start the day. Most people will lie in until the last possible moment and then jump out of bed, maybe have a shower and some breakfast before rushing to work. That's a good hour or so that they've already wasted. My first task, get in some early exercise for both me and the pooch. Both an early start and exercise first thing require some strong discipline and willpower, but will set the tone for the day. There are plenty of mornings I wake up early and really don't want to get up, let alone then go out for a run, especially when it's cold, dark and wet. But if I cave into those thoughts, I'll be letting the weaker version of myself win. I'll be sacrificing feeling good in the future for feeling good in the moment. If you can master delayed gratification, you'll unlock a significant attribute to becoming successful in life. Having this initial slot of time to work on yourself before work has the added benefit of being more predictable. There's less chance of something interrupting you from spending your valuable time on you. Back home, a quick shower and then get ready for the day. There isn't a dress code for work, but I choose to dress semi-smartly. Your appearance and presentation set the tone for most interactions, especially if it's meeting people for the first time. I try and prep my stuff the previous night to help me save time in the morning, but sometimes I don't get around to doing it and have to do it that morning anyway. So I prep my morning coffee, which saves me money in the long term, basically ensuring that I don't buy one, either en route or at work. Next, I grab my pre-prepared lunch. Again, prepping this on a Sunday means it saves me time and money throughout the week. It's heavy on protein, so I also need to sort out my hydration for the day, which includes a multivitamin tablet and creatine. I aim to leave the house at about 7 o'clock for the 20-minute drive to the park and ride. I'm pretty fixed during this time, but I can put on a podcast or audiobook to use the time for further self-development and educate myself on anything that I might be working on. Once I'm on the bus, I'm able to use the 40-minute journey to work on a plethora of different tasks. The internet isn't amazing, so it's normally things like business planning, social media content planning, idea brainstorming, and script writing. If the bus is really busy and it's difficult to get the laptop out, I've also used this time in the past to read. It's amazing on how many books you can get through if you have dedicated time in the day that you can't really be used for anything else. Once I get to site, it's time to go through security and get a second bus to the office and find myself a desk. I arrive at my desk and set up for the day, where my role is to help resolve any high-level technical challenges that may arise in the construction process. Lunch can last anywhere between 30 minutes to a full hour, so rather than randomly scroll through social media or browse random internet pages, I use the time to eat and build again for my future. The topics I can work on are obviously very similar to those that I normally work on the bus, but as I've got semi-decent internet here, the scope of what I can actually work on is much broader. So not only is the internet better, but I'm obviously not driving around, getting thrown around from left to right. So the time is much more akin to being useful for things like editing videos or working on building the applications that I want to utilize in the future as well. I'm obviously fairly constrained on what I can use my time on within the working day, but that doesn't mean I can't continue to work on myself. Communication skills, time management, and general problem-solving skills are all used and practiced throughout the day. At the end of the day, I get the internal bus from the office back to the bus station before going back through security and getting back onto the main bus for the park and ride. The demand for this bus normally dictates how productive I can be. If it's super busy and I'm not able to get my laptop out, I normally aim to get through a chapter or two of whatever book I'm currently reading. Once I arrive back at Park and Ride about 17:30, I now sit in the usual rush hour traffic whilst driving home, and again can utilise this time for podcasts and educational content. Once I get home, I'm greeted by the goodest of boys who's ready for his walk. A quick drop off my stuff before taking the pooch out for about 20-minute stroll around the park. Not only is it obviously good for the pooch, but it's also another 20 minutes of light exercise that you can add to your day. Now it's time for my evening meal. I tend to get cooking as soon as I get back from the walk. This helps reduce procrastination time and ensures I get a decent meal in before I hit the gym later on. Your food is another part of the day, if you get it right, will have a significant positive impact on your life. This evening, I've had a steak, 4 eggs, half an avocado and some salad. I tend to go heavy on the protein and reduce my carb intake as much as possible. If I can get any work done whilst eating, perfect. I'll continue to work on anything that I've been building throughout the day to help build my business. When I don't go to the gym, this will be a significant amount of time where I can get a good stint in for building my future empire. Currently, 3 times a week, I hit the gym. I leave the house at about 19:45 and aim to get to the gym for about 20:00 for an hour or so of working out. Even though I'm not directly working on building the empire, I'm working on building my physical and mental strength, which is obviously good for longevity, mental clarity, and will keep me physically active long after most people's bodies will start to deteriorate. For most people, they hit their late 20s and early 30s, and that's it. They no longer work on themselves. They're more content to get home, grab some food, and sit in front of the TV consuming absolutely nothing that will benefit them in the long term. Going to a gym in the evening is not only a great way to finish the day by working on your body and your mind, but also allowing you to unwind from the stresses and challenges from work, whilst also catching up with friends and getting some social time in multiple times within the week. All these little habits and making the most of the time available throughout the day add up. This is a typical 9 to 5 day that a lot of people would struggle to find half an hour to be able to work on themselves. Looking back at all the little opportunities I've identified and used to either build something to help me escape my 9 to 5 or work on myself and my personal development, this has added up to approximately 6 hours. Just imagine what you can achieve in 6 hours in a single day. And this is whilst working a normal job. So honestly, what is your excuse? I bet you can look at all the things you do in a single day and find at least an hour or 2 within that day to devote to personal development. Think how quickly that adds up as well. In a 5-day working week, that adds up to around 10 hours of additional personal development that you can fit in. So remember, is it going to be one day, or is today day one?